Please permit me to just read just that first page or the first paragraph, please. The Federal Civil Service Commission, at its meeting held on 14th June 2017, deliberated on a letter reference number HAGF/FCSC/2017/volume 13 dated 27th April 2017 from the Office of Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, and made a decision to request your office to advise the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, to convene the Senior Staff Committee's meeting within 7 days to discuss the officer's case vis-à-vis the Attorney General and Minister of Justice advice, and thereafter the Ministry, that is Ministry of Interior, should forward its recommendations through your office to the Commission for further action. A copy of the said letter under reference is attached for your information and guidance. So, Honorable Chairman, sir, it is this letter sent from the Federal Civil Service Commission conveying the directive of the Attorney General that the Federal Ministry of Interior should within 7 days convene the Senior Staff Committee meeting and send its report back to the Federal Civil Service Commission through the Office of the Head of Service. It was this letter, the Office of Head of Service was responding to the directives contained in this letter, which was initiated from Attorney General's office. And we now directed the Ministry of Interior accordingly to convene the Senior Staff Committee meeting. So, for the Permanent Secretary, Interior, to claim that the directive of reinstating Maina came from the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation is a bit limited in the facts of the matter.
With respect to salary, let me say from our records, and I'm saying this categorically, Honorable, that Maina received salary last in February 2013. And from March 2013, he was removed from payroll. I would also wish to state that when the Maina issue came up, that time there was no IPPS. There was IPPS, but then SIPO then never enrolled. So I don't know from where Maina was getting salary, and I made a test run of the system, giving different combinations of the name, Maina Rashid Abdullahi, Abdullahi Rashid Maina, and so on, to see if there is anywhere I could get somebody bearing that name receiving salary, and there was none.
We use 2 platforms to pay salaries, IPPIS and GIFMIS, the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, and there is no trace of any payment made to Mr. Abdul Rashid Abdullahi Maina. For the avoidance of doubt, the agency which he was suspended from, CIPPO, has morphed into PATAD. All of PATAD's staff are now on IPPIs. Their biometric data has been captured. We do not have the biometric data of Mr. Maina, which corroborates the points made by the Accountant General that his salary was stopped in March 2013. That was the last payment we have to Mr. Maina, which was for the month of February, paid in arrears.
I arrive at irresistible conclusion that Maina's request for reinstatement was an ongoing process in the Office of the Attorney General as at 5th day of October 2017, and the purported letter dated 21st February 2017 made available by the committee couldn't have genuinely emanated from the Attorney General. Again, I think it is material to state also that the letter dated 21st February 2017 couldn't have genuinely emanated from the Office of the Attorney General, having been lacking in procedural compliance as it obtains in the Office of the Attorney General relating to processing of documents. In relation to requests for legal opinion or interventions made by ministries, departments, and agencies or individuals, the procedure in the Office of the Attorney General is as follows. 1. The document requesting for legal opinion intervention is minuted by the Attorney General to a line officer to review, advise, and revert. 2. On receipt of the minutes by the line officer, he develops a memo making observations and recommendations. 3. Arising from recommendations, the Attorney General now gives further directives to the line officer approving appropriate recommendations and, in most cases, directing the line officer to act further. 4. Where the need for correspondence with a third or interested party arises, the Attorney General directs the drafting officer to draft necessary correspondence, which is further vetted by the Attorney General upon presentation by the line officer. So in essence, a communication from this process is a product of a request for opinion or intervention, minuting by the Attorney General to a line officer developing a memo, minutes of the Attorney General approving the recommendations or otherwise in the memo, and further directives in case of correspondence with a third party, directing the draft of a letter for such communication. And minutes from Attorney General approving the draft for communication. And then final clean copy of the letter to be signed by the Attorney General. I have gone through the associated files and records in the office and wish to confirm to the committee that no such antecedents exist in relation to the purported letter dated 21st February 2017. In fact, the incidences associated with the subject matter and proof of the fact that it was a work in progress as at 5th October 2017 belies the possibility of responsibility of the Office of the Attorney General relating to the letter dated 21st February 2017. Going forward, arising from that disclosure, I have directed the Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary to constitute a committee to investigate the case and revert with a report.
I just want to point out to what the Attorney General of the Federation has said, and to confirm that the first letter we received from his office was 19th January 2017. And that letter was titled Demand for Update on the Reinstatement of Mr. Abdulrashid Abdullah Maina as the Director in the Federal Civil Service. He asked some questions which we equally responded to. And I want to put it on record that the Attorney General never disputed the ownership of this letter, that first letter.